The summer of '76 stretched long. Hot days melted into warm nights. 4 friends sought adventure. Liam, ever the leader, proposed the dare. Blackwood Manor, a weekend within its haunted walls. He grinned, masking his own small fear. He liked to be in charge. He liked to pretend he was brave. He thought it would be fun, a harmless thrill. Maya, with her artist's soul, felt a pull, a strange curiosity. She painted feelings, not just scenes. The manor whispered of stories, dark stories, sad stories, perhaps. She agreed, her heart a nervous drum. She saw colours in the idea, deep blues, shadowy greys, a touch of fearful red. She hoped to understand its secrets. Chloe, bubbly and bright, shivered with excitement and a little dread. She loved ghost stories. From a safe distance. This was different, this was real, or could be. She clutched her lucky charm. A small, smooth stone. She needed her friends close, especially in a place like that. She hoped for laughter, not screams. Emily, quiet and thoughtful, listened. She loved history. Old places spoke to her. Blackwood Manor had many voices. She had read snippets, dark tales, unsettling whispers from the past. She wanted to know more, to understand the truth. She felt a responsibility almost, to listen, to remember what others forgot. The manor loomed on the hill, a silhouette against the bruised twilight sky. Trees clawed at its stone sides. Windows like vacant eyes stared down. No lights shone, no welcome offered, only silence. A heavy, ancient silence. The air grew cold around it, colder than the evening promised. It smelled of damp earth and decay. They pushed open the massive oak door. It groaned in protest. Dust motes danced in the fading light. Cobwebs draped furniture like ghostly shrouds. Portraits on the walls watched them. Their painted eyes seemed to follow. A grand staircase spiraled into darkness above. Each step creaked under their nervous feet. The house felt like it was holding its breath. Shadows clung to corners. They stretched and shifted. Were they just shadows or something more? A chill wind snaked through hallways. It whispered secrets, indecipherable murmurs. The friends stayed close. Their footsteps echoed too loudly in the oppressive quiet. The very walls seemed to absorb sound, to absorb warmth. Blackwood Manor was not just old. It felt wounded, saturated with forgotten sorrows. Every room held a story, a silent testament to lives lived and perhaps lives lost. The friends felt it. A deep, unsettling presence. It was more than just a dare now. It was an intrusion, an awakening of something long asleep, waiting. Liam tried to stay strong. He was the leader after all. He made jokes, he shone his flashlight boldly, but the darkness felt different here. It was thick, suffocating. He chose a small room off the main hall. He thought it would be secure, manageable. He hated feeling trapped. He needed control. He lay on a dusty cot. Sleep would not come. The silence pressed in, then a sound. A faint scratching from inside the walls. He told himself it was rats. Old houses had rats. But the scratching grew, rhythmic, insistent, like fingernails on wood, coming from everywhere and nowhere. He felt the walls closing in. The door creaked slowly. He had locked it. He was sure he had locked it. His breath hitched. He shone his light. Nothing there. Just an open door leading to more darkness. He got up. His legs felt like lead. He closed the door, locked it again, checked the knob. It was secure. He turned. The scratching was louder. He felt a cold breath on his neck. He spun around. No one. The room was small. Too small. Panic tightened his chest. He couldn't breathe. The walls felt wet, slimy. He imagined hands reaching for him. From the plaster, from the floorboards. He had to get out. He fumbled with the lock. It wouldn't turn. He was trapped. Maya found a room with a large mirror, ornate, tarnished. It reflected the candlelight and her own pale face. She felt a deep sadness here, an echo of old pain. She was sensitive to such things. Emotions clung to places, like perfume or like a stain. This room reeked of despair. She sat before the mirror, sketching the room, trying to capture its mood. The lines on her paper were shaky. Her hand trembled. She felt watched, not in a menacing way, but with a profound loneliness, as if someone yearned for company, for understanding. She felt a pang of sympathy for whatever soul lingered. The candle flickered wildly. The flame danced, then it almost died. The room plunged into near darkness. She held her breath. In the mirror's depths, she saw it. Not her own reflection, but another face, pale, tear-streaked, a woman's face, full of an unbearable grief. It looked directly at her, pleading. Maya gasped. The image faded. Her own frightened face stared back. Her heart pounded. The sorrow she had seen, it felt so real, so raw. It wasn't just an image, it was an imprint, a memory trapped in the glass. The woman's pain resonated with her own deepest fear, the fear of overwhelming, inconsolable loss. She felt tears well in her own eyes. Section 5, Chloe's Playmate. Unseen hands and silent laughter. Chloe chose a nursery, or what looked like one. Faded wallpaper with prancing lambs, a single overturned rocking horse. It felt less imposing, more childlike. She hoped for a lighter atmosphere. She feared the dark, the unknown, and old forgotten toys. They always seemed to watch. She hummed a cheerful tune to ward off the gloom. She set up her sleeping bag near the window. Moonlight streamed in, making eerie shapes. She clutched her smooth stone tightly. It felt warm in her hand. She tried to think of happy things. Picnics, sunshine, her friends laughing, not the creaks and whispers of the house. Then the rocking horse moved, just a little. A slow, deliberate rock, back and forth. Chloe froze. Her blood ran cold. There was no wind, no draft. She was alone in the room, or so she thought. She stared at the horse. It rocked again, faster this time, as if an invisible child were playing. A faint giggle echoed, so soft, almost inaudible. But she heard it, a child's laughter coming from the darkest corner. Her skin prickled. This wasn't playful, it felt wrong, unsettling. She backed away slowly, her fear of unseen things, of lonely, lost children. It was all coming true. The room felt suddenly cold and very, very small. Emily explored the library. Books lined the walls. Many were crumbling. She found a locked drawer in an old writing desk. Curiosity overcame her caution, and she managed to pry it open. Inside, a small, leather-bound diary. Its pages were brittle, the ink faded but legible. She began to read. The diary belonged to Ilara, a woman who lived here over a century ago. Emily read of Ilara's daughter Lily, a bright, joyful child. Then tragedy struck. Lily fell ill. The diary entries grew frantic, desperate, filled with prayers, and then with crushing grief. Lily had died in the nursery. Emily felt a chill. The entries turned darker. Ilara wrote of loneliness, of whispers in the house, accusations from the town. They said she was mad, that she neglected her child. Some even hinted at worse. Ilara's pain poured from the pages, her desperate love for Lily, her isolation, her fear. Emily realized the house held not malice, but sorrow. Emily understood the spirit wasn't evil. It was Ilara, or perhaps Lily, or both, trapped by grief, misunderstood, condemned. The mansion wasn't just haunted. It was a prison of memory, a testament to a mother's broken heart and a child's life cut short. Emily felt a deep ache for Ilara, for Lily, for the weight of their untold story. Liam finally burst from his room, pale and shaking. He mumbled about walls, about hands. He wasn't the confident leader now, just a terrified boy. Maya found him, her own fear for him mixed with the sorrow she'd witnessed. She tried to calm him, but her voice trembled too. The house was working on them individually. Chloe ran to them next, tears streaming down her face. She babbled about the rocking horse, the ghostly laughter, the unseen child. Her usual cheerfulness was gone, replaced by a raw, primal fear. The three friends huddled together in the dim, oppressive hallway. Their personal terrors had found them here in Blackwood Manor. Emily joined them, her face grim. She held the diary. "I know who it is," she said softly, "or who they are." She explained Ilara's story, Lily's fate, the town's cruelty, the trapped sorrow. It wasn't a monster they faced, but a grieving mother, a lost child. Their fears shifted slightly from pure terror to a dawning, painful understanding. The house seemed to react to Emily's words. The temperature plummeted. A mournful wail echoed through the halls, not a scream of anger, but of profound despair. Doors slammed shut all around them. The shadows deepened, converged. They were no longer separate in their fear. They were together, facing a concentrated wave of anguish. The mansion was fully awake. The air crackled with energy, cold, heavy. A spectral figure began to form at the end of the hallway, shimmering, indistinct, yet undeniably present. It was Ilara, her form translucent, her face etched with centuries of grief. Liam wanted to run. Chloe whimpered. Maya clutched Emily's arm. Fear was a living thing beside them. Emily stepped forward slowly, the diary held tight in her hands. "Ilara?" she called out. Her voice, though shaking, was clear. "We know about Lily. We know your pain." The figure wavered. A soft sob seemed to emanate from it, not threatening, just overwhelmingly sad. The friends felt a shared pang of sorrow, deep and resonant. "She wasn't neglected," Emily continued, tears in her own eyes. "You loved her. We understand." She spoke of what she read, of Ilara's love, her despair, her innocence. The figure of Ilara solidified slightly, her spectral eyes fixed on Emily, listening as if no one had spoken to her with kindness for a very long time. Maya then spoke, her voice gentle. "Your daughter is not alone, and neither are you." Chloe, finding courage, nodded. Even Liam, though terrified, stood his ground. They weren't fighting a monster, they were witnessing a tragedy. They decided, in that moment, not to flee, but to offer comfort, to acknowledge the spirit's suffering, to help her find peace, if they could. As Emily spoke words of understanding, a change occurred. The spectral form of Ilara shimmered. A faint, almost invisible outline of a child appeared beside her. Lily. She reached for Ilara's hand. The oppressive cold in the mansion lessened. A soft, warm light seemed to glow from the two figures. The mournful wail softened, became a sigh, a release. Ilara looked at the friends, a flicker of something like gratitude in her ethereal eyes. Then she and Lily began to fade, not into darkness, but into light. The heavy atmosphere lifted as if a great weight had been removed. The house felt suddenly quiet, truly quiet, not the silence of dread, but of peace. The shadows receded. The air felt cleaner. The friends stood in the now still hallway, exhausted, emotionally drained, but alive. The first rays of dawn peeked through a grimy window, painting the dusty air with hope. They had faced their fears. They had faced the unknown, and they had responded not with violence, but with compassion. They had helped to heal an old wound. They left Blackwood Manor as the sun rose. The house no longer seemed menacing, just old and empty, waiting, perhaps, for new stories. The four friends were changed. The terror would linger, a scar on their memories, but so would the knowledge of their shared courage. Their bond, tested by unimaginable fear, was now unbreakable. They had whispered back to the shadows and brought a fragile peace.